Welcome to another episode of The Next Generation, the Cowboy Creatives. I am here with my amazing co-host, Miss Lindsay Miller, and today, guys, we're doing hot takes, and we got some spicy hot takes today.
When I tell you hot takes, I have burned myself just looking at them. Like, let me just say, I thought I was unhinged. The stuff that other small business owners have gone through, I'm like, I thought I have dealt with some shit, but my goodness gracious, This is crazy. By the way, they are all anonymous. We will never say the name of the business or the entrepreneur who shared this. And additionally, I also asked when I put these out on Instagram, I asked if there was anybody who's not a small business owner. Like if you have a good or bad experience with small businesses, like tell us your hot takes. Because especially about this podcast, it is this specific episode is entertaining, but it is educational. So hopefully we will be able to share both sides of it. But let's be honest, Lauren and I might be a little bit biased because we might be small business owners.
And if you guys want to submit your hot takes that you personally have, head on over to Lindsay or the Cowboy Creatives. So either Miss Miller's Photography or the Cowboy Creatives. Once a week we will, or every once in a while, maybe not once a week, but every once in a while we'll put out a little thing that you can submit your hot takes on our stories. And so just be on the lookout for that, or you can always message us your hot takes too if you just want to like run over to one of our Instagram accounts and message us the hot takes. Again, fully anonymous, but if you have a crazy story that you want shared anonymously, we'll share it. So
right. All right. Lauren,
okay.
Do you want to we're going right in, you guys.
We're going
Hold on tight. Prepare yourselves. Lauren,
and these are
you
pretty
want to
candid.
Pick one?
We have not read through these. We just like screenshotted them and put them in a folder. So you're getting our candid reactions, which I'm a little bit terrified for.
I'm glanced at them. I will try to keep the cursing to a minimum, but no guarantees.
Have to do some bleeps or some explicit warning content.
I always love it when I put the captions over my Instagram stories and it bleeps me on.
It out.
I'm like, cool. Yes. Anyways, so Lauren, go ahead and pick one and let's read it. We have them on our phones here, you guys, so that's where we're reading them from.
Okay. When people get mad, we're not on call 24/7. Even large businesses have set hours.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, I'm going to talk about this as a photographer. So a little bit of background. If you don't know who I am, obviously I'm Lindsay Miller, Lauren's co-host and business partner. And I own 2 small businesses. Technically 3 if you want to count the cattle, but we're just going to leave that out for now. So I have Miss Miller's Photography, which is a Western lifestyle and Western wedding photography business. And then I also have a Western home decor small business where my husband and I make Western home decor to sell it. And so I'll kind of be like approaching it from that standpoint. But my first initial reaction is that when I first opened my business, I was horrendous at like setting boundaries. The first time I realized I was horrendous at setting boundaries was that I had somebody inquire about doing family pictures at their church. And I was like, cool, when? And they like said, December 24th. I was like, so like for your Christmas Eve church service, you think I want to come and hang out with you and your family at church instead of being with my family at their church, or, you know, and I was like, are they serious? Like, praise the Lord. Like, I'm all about attending church, but like, I want to be with my family. That's a holiday. And like, they were offended. Granted, this was like several years ago when I was a new photographer. And at that point in time, like I remember telling Tucker and I were just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. And I was like, can you believe this? He's like, people are crazy. And that's when I first got like my toe dipped into the insanity that people expect us to do as small business owners.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, that's literal insanity. I mean, we've all been there. I get it. But then at the same time, like, the reason that customers expect us to respond 24/7 is because businesses are doing it. So stop doing it, because guys, we have lives. Like, I have working hours that I work. Every once in a while I'll go and like scroll and like respond to 1 or 2 DMs or something like that, like in the middle, not in the middle of the night, but in the evening or something if I'm scrolling Instagram.
3 a.m.
Yeah, no, we're not doing any of that. Sorry, I like my sleep around here. But it's also one of those things. It's like the reason customers expect this is because some of y'all are out there doing it. Like, figure out your work-life balance. I'm sorry if this is harsh. We'll do an episode where I'm maybe not so mean about it, but like, figure out your work-life balance and stop like treating these customers like they are just the Taj Mahal and all of this stuff. Like,
There's a difference between valuing your customers and valuing yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I think, and it takes a really long time. So if you're just starting your journey as a small business, or if you're struggling with this, don't be fooled. I feel like, I know personally for me, I can speak on myself. Like, I struggled with it in the beginning because
Yeah.
I was under this impression that small businesses have to work 24/7. Like, I grew up in an industry where we work 365 days a year growing up in
Exactly.
agriculture. It's very cliche, but the saying is 365 days a year, rain, sun, snow, wind, doesn't matter. You're out there taking care of the cattle. So I kind of like took that mindset into my photography business. And I realized very early on, especially being a creative, it is not physically or mentally possible. And it's taken me a lot of years. And I will say I'm still navigating it. But the sooner you can like set boundaries and you can say, okay, why am I working for myself? Why did I start a small business? Is it so I never
Yeah.
get to spend a holiday with my family? Or did I do this so I would have more flexibility to do what I want and spend time with the people that I love and doing what I enjoy? You can still work hard. You can still, go full throttle without, sacrificing your personal life. So a couple quick tips that I have done, and then Lauren, if you have any tips that you've done as well on your side of things, because Lauren also juggles a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
And and a lot of photographers, a lot of creatives do, and so for me personally, I have set a boundary that I do not work on Sundays unless it is a very, very, very specific request. So let's say like in October I'm going to be in Kentucky, Tennessee, whatever, I'm sorry, same thing.
You
I'm going
keep
to
on
Nashville.
mixing them up.
I know.
Nashville is in Tennessee.
Yes, but
babe.
I am shooting a wedding in Bowling Green, which is in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
They're like
okay.
right there.
Fair.
Okay.
That's right
so,
there.
anyways, I feel like it's like saying Fort Collins, Colorado, and Cheyenne, Wyoming, like whatever, same
Fair.
area.
Fair.
But, anyways, like I'm gonna already be there. Like, how often am I there? Really, not that much. It worked out for me to take a session on Sunday, so like that's why I'm doing it. Now, if I'm here in Colorado, like not to be like strict about it, but like if I have people like, oh, we really need a weekend, I'm like, cool, my weekends they book up like 6 to 8 months in advance. And they're like, well, what about this Sunday? Don't even tell them I don't work on Sundays. Like, sorry, it's not available. And that's what I do. It's really helped my sanity. And then also like taking actual breaks for like holidays. For me, running the e-commerce side of things for my Western home decor business, it's really hard to like take a break during like the Thanksgiving week, just because that's like, we have Black Friday, Swap is a Saturday, Cyber Monday. You kind of need to be present in those times. But like, say for the week after, I'll be like, hey, like now I'm out of office, And that doesn't mean that if you don't want to work, you could still go work, but like make it on your terms by all means. And if you are customers or clients out there, rein yourself in. I'm sorry, we love you, but you need to get realistic right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the thing is too is go fill out an inquiry form on my website, but don't expect, and as soon as you fill out an inquiry form on my website, it redirects you to another page that says, thank you so much for your response. I am working between these hours. You can anticipate a response within the next 24 to 48 hours. Unless it is a weekend, then I will get back to you on a Monday. And that is just a boundary that I had to set for myself too, because it's one of those things that like, I understand grind seasons, guys. Like I understand when you are building a business. Lindsay and I are building a business right now. I get it. Okay. I get that you have to like put your heart and soul and a lot of time and energy into these businesses.
Hey,
but
trademarked.
Look at that, trademarked. But at the same time, you have to also prioritize yourself, your mental health, your families, your relationships. Because guess what? If I let my relationship with my amazing fiance slip, then my relationship with myself is going to slip, and therefore my business is going to slip. Okay. So it's just a cascade of events. So you have to find a way to, you can't give 100% to everything, but you need to at least be giving a little bit to the places that refill your cup and different things like that. And so that is setting business hours. That is not responding all the time, and just understanding as a consumer to other businesses that, like, whether it's a national chain business or it's a little mom and pop store, like you have to understand that business hours are set for a reason, and we all need them.
I agree completely. All right. Are we ready to dive into the next hot take?
Hit me.
Pick one out. All right.
I'm scared.
Okay. I'm scared too. Ready?
No.
As a shopper, stop stealing my mother thing designs.
Yeah. Dude.
Lauren, take it away.
Oh, guys. Okay. Do you know what intellectual property is? Y'all?
Oh my gosh.
Like,
can we have a whole episode on that too?
No, we do.
Like,
have you seen?
Coming soon. Guys,
Have you
I got
seen?
blocked. I got blocked by a fellow small business within the Western community that's in Colorado that literally blocked me. I will obviously not say their name.
Lindsay, I have it on a list to do a full episode about intellectual property and copywriting. But guys, don't even get me freaking started. Be your own creative. Like, stop it. There is a difference between getting inspiration from something and full blown just like stealing a design. Or stealing concepts or things like that. Like, the thing is you also, as a business owner and as like leaders in industries, you have to understand that Lindsay and I, like specifically Lindsay, are looked at a different regard sometimes, like on a social media presence. So Lindsay's going to launch something and there's going to be a copycat running right behind her. So like when she launches something, she knows that it's coming. But then at the same time, that doesn't disregard the fact that that is still a really crappy move from that person that is copying them. Okay, so it doesn't even matter. Yeah, go ahead.
I've had people. So, for example, like I sell a specific sort of canvas that Tucker, my husband, hand makes from scratch in our fabrication shop. And I've literally had people, and I will deep dive. I will deep dive and I will snoop on you if I find out that you're copying me. Like, and there's a difference between, again, having inspiration and like blatantly copying, having no brain of your own to figure stuff out for yourself. And like, I literally, this is how terrible it is. People, the audacity that people have is insane to me, because I will have people that order specific products from my Western home decor line. And then like, I can see your email. I can see your name. I can see where it's being shipped to. You dummy. And then you literally, like, all of a sudden now 3 weeks later, after you've had my product in your possession, all of a sudden now you're selling it. Because you literally just ordered it. I guess thanks for the sale, but like you ordered it so that you could like probably deconstruct it to figure out how we made it. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, do you have no conscience? Like, that's insane.
And, y'all, I want to be so for real. So I used to work for a really well-known, in college, I worked for a really well-known graphic design, like t-shirt company within the agricultural space. And I worked remotely for them. And guys, we sued people multiple times because fonts were the same, concepts were the same, different things like that. And every single design that we had was done and copyrighted. And that's another thing as a small business owner. Go get your stuff copyrighted, or go get it like actually like secured, trademarked, whatever you need to do to protect your property and protect your designs. But then at the same time, it's like we went out of our way and found these businesses, or we had like a really loyal customer base that'd be like, hey, yo, we found this business on Etsy. Like, this is almost your exact design, just switched up a little bit. And we had a team of lawyers that would go out and send cease and desist and sue these companies and small businesses and stuff. And people were always like, oh, why would you do that? Blah, 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 blah. Like, there's space for everyone. And yes, there is space for everyone. But then at the same time, like,
there's not space there's not space to rip people off. You're literally, you're like, figure out your own things. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. Would you walk? This is, and I said this to the company that blocked me and they probably didn't like it. I'm like, literally what you're doing to me right now, because they stole my intellectual property. They stole my photos and use them for commercial use. I mean, you can steal photos, but once you steal, you can't steal photos, but they're stealing photos in general taken by a professional photographer. And then they're stealing photos for commercial use, which is like, why you thought this was okay is you are literally stealing my work to make a profit. That's insane. Anyways, I literally used the example to them before I got blocked. I told them, I was like, how would you like it if somebody came into your store and just walked out with, say, they sell a block of cheese and just like walked out without paying for it, asking for permission, anything? Like, would that be okay? Absolutely not. So why do we think it's okay to steal intellectual property from creatives? Why? I don't understand. This person also said, they put two in and they said, I'm willing to share some tips with you, but also learn how to use Google ...
Dude,
and the amount of times people have like contacted me like, where do you print your canvases? I'm like, do you know how many thousands and thousands of dollars I have spent on ordering in product for it just not to work out? I have done so much trial and error, and I'm sorry, unless you want to pay me back that thousands and thousands of dollars, I'm not just gonna like tell you how to steal my business and become my competitor. Like, that's weird.
Yeah,
It's really
exactly.
strange.
And it's one of those things that's like you can't go out of your way and expect bull crap like that. Like at the same time, so like Lindsay and I are coming to this like in a very like this business, we're coming to it in a way of like we want to share our knowledge with you and we're doing this podcast to share it for free. But then at the same time, like we're not going to go XYZ through the entire path that we did in our entire business and give away every single like it's not a secret, but at the same time we had to figure it out for ourselves. Like hello, YouTube University over here. I had to learn a lot on my own. And so it's one of those things that's like, you can't just go to these small businesses and expect to just like get handed this stuff for free or get handed this information for free or just be able to rip off their designs.
And also like, okay, first of all, Lauren, how much do you think you have invested into your business at this point? Like, yeah, same. Like I have invested time, money, energy, money I did not have. Like I literally, the very first online course that I took, it was in 2017. And like, I had to put it on my Discover card because I was like, I don't have the money for this. I don't. But like, I knew
did the
that
same
I needed.
thing. 2 years ago, I took my first online course and I put it on my credit card, guys, because I simply did not have the money to do so. Like,
yeah. And it's just like, I think there's a give and take. There's a balance now. I feel like we're kind of switching to like the educational side of things. Or correct me if I'm wrong. There's a give and take. Like we want to provide you guys with value, but at the end of the day, like in order for us to serve you to the full extent, like this is still a job. This is still a job for us. Like, yes, we want to educate, but it is still a job. We still have a mortgage to pay. Thank you.
Oh yeah. 1,000%. I couldn't agree more. And be on the lookout for a full episode about intellectual property and copywriting because Lindsay and I have a lot
Somebody
of
needs
experience.
to put me in a straight jacket. Somebody needs to put me in a straight jacket. Hold me back.
Yeah, hold Lindsay back because, oh my gosh, a situation happened just like last month that,
it was insane.
It was not pretty. It was not pretty at all. And I just think that sometimes brands are just really ignorant to not knowing the laws and not knowing and understanding copyright and intellectual property. But then at the same time, like sometimes they just go blatantly out of their way to just be like, yeah, screw you. And so we'll talk all about how to handle that as a small business owner and all of those things. But are you ready for the next one?
Hit me.
If I get asked to collab with one more influencer who doesn't even follow me, I'm a scream.
I feel like boutique owners struggle with this. I feel like photographers, videographers struggle with this. And I have a lot of friends that own boutiques in the Western space, and the amount, literally, obviously I'm not going to say names, but I know someone who owns a boutique, and she literally screenshot a message and sent it to me, and she's like, "Can you believe this? This girl, Homie G, like a customer, or not even a customer, not even a follower, random girl on Instagram sends this boutique owner a message to her business page. And she's like, hey, I'm getting married on XYZ date." Keep in mind, like this friend of mine that has the Western boutique, like she doesn't even sell like wedding things.
She doesn't have a bridal section.
No.
Website,
so it's like totally out of left field. And this girl literally asks this boutique to send her a gift. She's like, here's my registry also if you'd like to buy something from it. It's like she wants this I'm not even joking. I'm not joking. I have seen the screenshot. It was a real freaking person. And she like sends my friend who owns the boutique, she sends her a link to her registry. Like at this point, she doesn't even want anything for free from the boutique, which she wasn't going to get anything anyways. Like I know that the boutique went and like searched her name and like searched so many different variations of her name to see if this person had even ever like ordered anything. And no, she didn't follow her. She's never ordered anything. It was just totally random out of like left field. And then she's like, and here's a link to our registry and our address is like, gave a PO box. And I was like, what?
Ain't no way.
Absolutely not.
Ain't no way.
It's insane.
And as a photographer, like I get asked all the freaking time. And I'm like, okay, it's completely different if I approach you as a photographer to like do a styled shoot or do like a creative shoot.
Well, you're providing them with something.
Yeah, like I'm providing you with something. You're
giving
like,
them
a model
hundreds,
for me.
if not thousands of dollars worth of free photos. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's different if I reach out to like someone to like do a collab in that aspect of like I am providing them with something. But if you don't even, maybe you follow me. Maybe we'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you follow me, but you don't engage with my content. You don't purchase my services, even if I was charged, like even if it like,
you don't
was
even
charged, like
people
like,
can support your business just by like liking and sharing your stuff and commenting.
You don't interact. You don't just like support
you're
me
just there
in general. Like you're just there, and you follow 5,000 other people that you're just there for as well. Like
Yeah.
that does not count. You are not allowed to
Yeah.
like do that. That's so check yourself.
Small. Tell me
Check
in the
yourself.
comments. Tell me in the comments if is this going to be on YouTube, Lauren? by the
Yes,
way?
it will be.
Okay.
YouTube, and then on Spotify you can also comment on there too.
Oh,
So
cool. Fancy.
yeah,
All right. Tell
very
us in
fancy.
the comments if you agree, but if you are a small business entrepreneur, owner, what have you, I can smell a rat from like a mile away. I'm like, oh, no. Like, we know the difference between an authentic customer and an authentic client. Like, you can literally smell it from a mile away. If you are messaging small businesses, entrepreneurs, creatives, if you're messaging them for free stuff, I almost said a bad word. If you're messaging for free stuff, they know. They know you are not fooling anybody. Stop. Immediately stop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
The thing is like, look at it from a business owner standpoint. We have mortgages to pay. We have families to feed. We have a business to run. We cannot be going out and handing out free stuff and free sessions and like doing all of this stuff all the time. And also like, don't come to me expecting a discount either.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
this just completely went off on like a little bit of a side tangent, but like, don't come into my DMs asking for a discount because you're an influencer or because you're a quote unquote influencer. Everyone's an influencer these days. Like, I freaking hate that word. Sorry.
There is. I feel like there are definitely individuals out there who truly are influencers.
Yes.
I know that I'm gonna go to their page to find certain things, but nowadays, like, everyone can create an Amazon storefront.
Exactly.
Everyone can contact boutiques, be like, "Hey, I have 500 followers. Can you send me some free stuff?" Like, and I just feel like the title of influencer has really lost all credibility at this
1,000%.
point. Like, don't get me wrong, there are still. There's original, like the OG influencers that I still follow and I respect. There's ones that are new that are coming into the game. They're doing an amazing job and I respect them. But there is the majority of influencers these days. I use air quotes if you're listening to this. They're just calling themselves influencers and they want free stuff. Honestly, that's what it feels like. There's no disrespect, no hate there, but it's like, I'm calling myself a photographer, but I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to take the time to educate myself on how to do this properly. Like, I'm not just shooting on an iPhone and calling myself a photographer. And sometimes that's what it feels like these people who are just asking for free stuff without any value are doing in the world, in the space. And it's hard. I literally have even heard of a specific influencer who contacts, she has a very, very, very large following and contacts boutiques and asks for stuff, gets hundreds of dollars worth of free product and then never pictures it, never creates any content with it. And then when you ask her, hey, where's this content? There's always an excuse. Oh, I moved. Oh, I was sick. And then before you know it, a year has gone by. You literally see that person in their stories wearing the boots that you sent them. And you're like, I thought you were sick. Why can't you just take a picture right now? You got the boots on. And it's like, I don't understand. Like, have we lost all morals in today's society, honestly?
Just like, be a good human. Be a good human. Understand that like small businesses are still businesses at the end of the day. And like, if you are genuinely like an active supporter of this business or like things like that, or you are actively like trying to grow, find a way that you can message this boutique or this like business or something and be like, hey, I would love to scratch your back if you scratch mine. Don't say that. That sounds a little weird. You know what I mean? It's like, you give them
immediately blocked.
You give them something, we give you something type of thing.
Yeah.
Like there is give and take in these types of transactions and like there is still a place for them, but make sure that like you are going to it with enough value to be able to validate the request that you were giving. And it can't just be like, oh, I'm going to post it on my feed and my followers are XYZ engaged. It's like, okay, but what are you going to do above and beyond that? Like, is there, find other ways to make yourself stick out if you're going to do this. Or, like, just don't ask for free stuff and not do anything in return.
I have literally sent for my Western home decor business several years ago, before there was like an influx of like a bunch of quote unquote influencers, content creators, whatever you want to call them. Yes, you have a right to support other businesses. That's not what I'm not trying to say you don't, but I have like had people reach out to me. I didn't reach out to them. They found me. They sought me out. They're like, hey, oh my gosh, like I just moved into a new house. Can you send me like one of your canvases? I have 20,000 followers and I would love to create content for it. I'm like, cool. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. And I send them the canvas. They do a nice unboxing. They do a nice video for me. I'm like, oh, that was really sweet. That was really nice. and then the next video in their story is something from another Western home decor business. And I about lost my mind that day. Cause yeah, you can buy stuff from other Western home decor businesses, but if I am literally giving you free stuff for you to promote my business, do not promote my competitor less than 15 seconds later.
Exactly.
I don't know. To me, maybe it's just me, but to me, that really rubbed me the wrong way. It really did.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, 1,000%. I agree.
Are you ready for the next one?
Hit me with a new one.
Okay. This one, you guys, is actually from a non-small business owner. I would say from the consumer or a client standpoint. And I feel like we were just talking about asking for free stuff. So this kind of transitions into the consumer's side of things. This person says, not a business owner, small businesses be charging crazy money. What you think, Lauren?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. We live in a world that is so consumed by the Amazons and the Sheins. Mm-hmm. The companies that produce this product, quote unquote, that is, and don't get me wrong, there's great things on Amazon. I'm an Amazon girl. Okay, I'm not hating on Amazon, but I'm just saying we live in a society that is so used to having what they want and having it right now that quality materials and investing in quality clothing or quality products has completely gone out the door. For me personally, there are things that I buy that I know that it's going to be a very seasonal thing, so I don't care if it's the best quality thing. Maybe I'm only going to wear it for fall for 3 months for 1 year, and then it's probably not going to be in style, or I'm not going to want it next year. So I'm not super concerned about that. But if I am buying something that I want to have in my closet for a really long time, I care about quality. This shirt that I'm wearing right now, guys, I have had it for 6 years. Okay. I care about clothes and items that are going to withstand wear and tear and all of these things. So I'm willing to invest in it. If you want to go buy from Shein, go buy from Shein.
I'm not.
Go crazy. Go crazy. Do you. But at the end of the day, don't get mad at these small businesses for charging what their items are worth. Now, that does not excuse the businesses that are buying crap products and then upcharging them 80%. That does not excuse that. I understand that there are those businesses in the world, mm-hmm. and that's not okay. But
yeah, and I did reach out to the specific person who said that, and I was just hey, can you just explain a little bit more? I'm not judging yet, right? I was can you just explain? And that individual did say that, when you order a product from somebody, and her exact words were, it's Shein quality.
Yeah.
And I definitely do see that, but I just want to pivot a little bit off of that and kind of transition it to the Western creative space.
Yeah.
And kind of talk about it from that perspective, because at the end of the day, well, yes, I do have my Western home decor business, and I can promise you that everything coming through my Western home decor business is not, it's not going to be made in China. It's literally Tucker makes it in our shop here in Colorado. It is the wood. I don't think the wood came on a boat from China. It literally came from the United States. So I don't order stuff from those wholesale places. So I can't speak on it. I don't have enough experience to talk about that. And maybe if people want to hear more about it, let us know, and we'll definitely maybe bring on some people who have more experience in that. But from the Western creative side of things, talking about the price and the value of what you're actually getting. Mm-hmm. I think it's all perspective, maybe would be the right word. There are people out there who want to book the lowest wedding package I offer, but they're expecting to get the service of the highest wedding package I offer. For example, let's say in my lowest package that I offer, let's say it doesn't come with an engagement session. They know that mm-hmm. ahead of time. I'm very clear about all of that up front. You literally can customize your packages. And then they're well, I want to book this with you, but photographer over here, she offers it for the exact same price, but offers an engagement session. And I'm cool. I mean, you could still get an engagement session from me, but this is what I'm charging. This is what I feel my work is valued at. And I don't mean to sound rough, but I don't want you price shopping me. And I talk a lot about
1,000%.
this at the workshop, that Lauren's Cowboy Kind of Love workshop that was in Kansas. And this is not great value. I'm not a great value photographer. We're not shopping the clearance section here. I am providing high quality work, and it's up to you to decide if you want to pay for that. Additionally, I don't want you price shopping me. I want you to book me because you love my shooting style. You love my edits. You love my personality. You're like, hey, I could vibe with Lindsay at my wedding day all day long. And it's
Oh,
okay
yeah.
to not vibe with each other. Like maybe I have a client that's coming to me and really loves all those things about me, but they need somebody who's just a little bit more reserved, a little bit more quiet. And like they get on a phone call with me and like, wow, Lindsay talks a lot. Lindsay has a very open personality, and that's fine. Then don't book me. Go book another photographer. But don't price shop me. Don't price shop me, you guys. That doesn't make any sense. And you're gonna end up you are going to end up unhappy. It doesn't matter if you book me or somebody else. If you are price shopping photographers, you are going to end up unhappy. I understand a budget. I fully understand a budget. I'm not saying blow your budget out of the water. I'm saying figure out your budget before you go and contact photographers. Don't go to, in the wedding dress world, don't want a Panina Tournay gown and like, I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
And like expect to pay like, you know, Dollar General price. It just doesn't, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't equate. And it's one of those things that's like, set your expectations where your budget's going to be in the creative industry. Like, it's one of those things that, yes, sometimes there can be a little bit of a sticker shock because people are like, oh, that's a big investment. But then I think also just as a creative, it is your responsibility to educate your customers well in the fact of like, this is why this costs this much. Like, this is why you are investing XYZ amount of money in your family photos or in your wedding or things like that in these photographs, because I'm going to give you this type of service. And you know what? I think also as creatives, you have to be okay with people that are going to come in, put an inquiry in, and then leave because your prices are too high. Like, that's okay. They are not your ideal client. That is completely fine. They are someone else's that is maybe still learning and growing their business and has cheaper prices or things like that. But I think it's really
not your responsibility as a small business to be affordable for someone else's budget. I think that's super important. Now, I will say that like you can't just charge, I can't just say, oh yeah, my photography services are $1 million because I want $1 million. You need to be aware of what the market is for the product you're offering. I don't care if it's photography, videography, Western fashion tops. I don't care. You need to know what the market is. For example, my shoots that I offer for like people who are running a Western boutique, I have seen the numbers before because I know enough people who own Western boutiques. I know that if they want me to do a fall like launch for them, like a promotional shoot for their fall launch, I'm fully aware of how much they're charging for that shirt. They're not going to be able to afford a promo shoot for $1,000 for 3 pieces of clothing. So like there's give and take. Now I always like, this is a pro tip for anybody out there that is a photographer. One thing that I always do is if a client comes to me and they're like, hey, we really want to book you, but it's just a little bit out of our price range right now, I hit them back with, that's totally fine. I understand. What are you willing to compensate on to get to that ideal price? So maybe that's not doing, you know, a photo shoot with 4 different locations, 7 different models. Maybe that's just one person. So a lot of times boutique owners are their own models more often than not. So maybe that's just that one person, and we just shoot at one location that's maybe a little bit closer to home, so I'm not having to travel 3 hours away to do the session. And then by all means, like, cut down on travel fees, we cut down on time. Now, I'm not saying offer a mini session, but like, just feel your client out. Like, there's still a way for both people to have a give and a take and find a common ground. You don't have to find a common ground if it's not going to work for either of you, though. So don't be afraid to turn a client away. If you are a Western boutique owner, obviously I fully understand. You can't just like, somebody's like, oh, these pants are too expensive. You can't be like, you want me to cut them off and make them shorts and they'll be half off? Like,
they're half the price now.
Yeah, I totally get that, you guys. I do. And I think that's when, like, for me, I mean, I love to do a lot of my shopping, like when there are promotional sales. I trust me, like if there's something I really, really want, I'm buying it right away as soon as like the store releases it. But there's other times in life where I'm like, oh, we had to buy hay for the cattle this month. Like I'm a little tight on money, but like I really like that top. I'm hoping and praying that it like goes on sale. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm like, I'm happy for that boutique that they were able to sell out. I mean, it sucks for me, but that's kind of my take on it.
I think that there's just like some really important give and take from the consumer and the business owner standpoint that everyone just needs to set their expectations where they should be. So you ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
Hit me. Juicy. I have an opinion. I want to hear yours first though.
Oh boy.
Other photographers saying community over competition and then literally doing the complete opposite.
Okay. Yes, this is something. Well, I know it's always on Lauren's mind. She talks about it a lot. Okay, here's my take on it. And again, nobody has to agree with me. It's just my take. There is a difference between Lauren asking me to come and teach at her workshop. Newsflash: I didn't come and do that for free. Yep. But I did provide value, really good value. I literally told those girls like all of my secrets to what I do to get to where I'm at in business. Mm-hmm. Those girls that came to the workshop paid Lauren money. Okay. There's a difference between me and Lauren having free and valuable content to you, and then somebody being like, hey, I've listened to your podcast. Can you tell me the exact presets or the preset formula that you're using? Because I love your photos and I want mine to look the exact same as yours. Mm-hmm. I feel like that is not community over competition. That's somebody trying to be a leech off of you. And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but somebody's trying to be a leech. If there's a photographer out there who is selling their presets, if you want your photos to look the same as theirs, go buy their presets. Why are you asking
still
them
not
to
going to
give
look
you...
the same? But
yeah. Every camera sensor is different, you guys. Newsflash. But like there is such a difference in being a leech off of a photographer as another photographer or creative, and like actually like recognizing like, okay, Lauren and Lindsay are providing all this free content, and if I need more, I mean, honestly, like Lauren and I have already talked about all the stuff we're going to be providing for free through this, and it's like probably thousands of dollars worth of free content. Honestly, it's insane. And that's like, if you need more, you need to know that you need to invest. There is major photographers, major business gurus that I've looked up to my entire career, and like I took their free content, I ingested it, and I was like, I need more, and then I invested in their business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I learned a lot more.
I absolutely agree with that. Like, as far as like wanting to know and educate, it's definitely an aspect that like you can't expect to just like as a photographer be able to slide into Lindsay or I's DMs and we just tell you all of our trade secrets or things like that. Like we're obviously going to help you, but at the same time, like you can't expect people, especially people that aren't in the education space, to just like give away that information for free. But like, so let's talk in an aspect of like Lindsay and I that are pretty much like on equal playing ground, and I'm not like leeching for information. I'm not like asking her all these questions. Like we're on equal playing ground. Okay. So Lindsay and I understand and respect the fact that we have different target markets and that we have like differences in our business, and each of us serve certain clients. There is some crossover there, okay? But I'm not going out of my way to make Lindsay feel bad when she's booking clients and I'm not, okay, guys? Don't be an asshole. All right. It's pretty simple in the fact that, like, yes, there is community over competition. I can literally think of a couple people that come to mind. Oh, that like they preach community over
Keep
competition.
Keep it professional. Rein it in, Lauren.
I know. I'm not going to say any names, okay?
We don't need to get sued.
Yeah, no, for real. Dude, can you imagine our second episode and we get sued?
So here's our lawyer. So lawyer set us up.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, sorry.
But it's one of those things that's like, you can't preach community over competition and then go out of your way to belittle other photographers or like do crap like that. Or I think it's also just, it plays into the comparison game that you need to make sure that you're not comparing yourself to other photographers, that you're not like comparing. There's a healthy way to compare yourself to other businesses and stuff, but like you're not comparing out of like, oh my gosh, I wish I had their business. Or Lindsay just booked that bride and that bride should have come to me. Or like different things like that. There are levels, there are lines that just be respectful, be nice, play nice. If someone screws you over, like I'm not telling you to like be their best friend or anything like that. Or even like you can block them for all I care. Lindsay and I have blocked our fair share of people in our time as business owners. Hey, but it's also one of those things that like don't go out of your way to preach community over competition if like that's not truly what you believe. I think that's what it comes down to.
Like, can we use the example of the sepia gate bride right now, or how she likes to say it, sepia? It's not pronounced sepia. It's sepia, and that's not even sepia. Those edits are not sepia. First of all, anyways, back on track here. Let's talk about what's not community over competition in the photography and videography space. So that bride, and if you don't know what we're talking about, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, potentially, whatever, just go to TikTok and type in sepia gate and sepia bride and it'll come right up. But anyways, if you do know what we're talking about, you'll understand this. Community over competition is not going to that bride's post where she's bashing her wedding photographer. I mean, like, as a photographer, going to the comment section, be like, oh my gosh, I would have never done that to you. If you want, girl, I will shoot your wedding for free. Let's redo your wedding. Like, you are literally throwing that other original photographer under the bus, and you are wrecking their business, and you are showing other future clients who want to book that photographer who was Sepia Bride's photographer. You are literally like, you're stealing from them. You're making them look bad. You're hindering their ability to book other clients. And to me, that's just gross. That is absolutely gross that you are going to that bride's post and you are saying, oh my gosh, yeah, those photos are ugly. Who are you to judge? Who are you to judge? Because maybe we think your photos are ugly too. That's not community over competition. That's just being a shitty human.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it's just genuinely know where your heart posture is around the subject, the topic, different things like that, and understand the fact that, like, if that's not truly what you believe, just don't go out of your way to preach it.
Exactly.
I think that's just what it comes down to. Like, just if that's what you believe, then be that person. But if that's not what you believe, then just exit the conversation.
Speaking of Sepia Bride, we're not going to talk anymore about Sepia Bride, but it kind of hits on that. Lauren, are you ready for the next one?
I think so.
Okay. Claiming something is poor quality or defective because they just don't like how it looks. I'm assuming after they have purchased something from you, be it services, a product, what have you.
Okay, opinions. So I feel like there's two different levels to this. So from like an entrepreneur, small business outside of like photo or video work where like you see the physical product before you receive it. That's completely different in the fact that like, okay, as a small business owner, don't like be photoshopping your photos or like presenting an item as like luxury if it's not. Like, just be for real, be honest. As a consumer, you have to understand that like the price and the quality, like they directly correlate to one another. So like know what you're purchasing before you buy it. Also, like it never hurts to just look at the return policies that small businesses have and different things like that. That like if you're unsure of what this is going to look like, or if you're unsure that you're going to love it in your space or love it on you, just what is their return policy and just set your expectations where they need to be beforehand. As far as photo and video work, I have some really nice things to say on this, and I'm sure Lindsay does too. But but the flies are awful, y'all. But
I have cows. There's cows outside.
I do not have cows outside, and
you live in Kansas. You live in Kansas. There's probably the nearest bovine is probably like 5 miles from your house. I bet.
Not even. Exactly. But anywho, as far as like photo and video work go, I think it is super important to understand what you are signing up for when you sign up for a photographer or videographer to come and take your photos. Like if you book Lindsay's top wedding package, like she was talking about earlier, but you, or like you book her lowest wedding package, but you're expecting her top wedding package, the photos that she's going to deliver are still going to be like the same quality, but maybe there's not the same quantity. Or different things like that. Like there's
or hours of service.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like set your expectations where they need to be for that service. And it's unfair to the small business owner to expect something that like they're not able to give you as a client. But then at the same time, like if you genuinely, like as a client, you're like, I looked at these photos. This is the photos that were in their portfolio. These are the photos I received, and they are two completely different things. You have a leg to stand on with that. You absolutely do. But I think it's just really important that you vet your photographers properly. You don't need to be an a-hole to them, okay? But like, or ask like a trillion questions. You need to trust your photographer, but at the same time, like understand what you are purchasing when you're making a transaction.
And I think that's why it's super important to, as a photographer, as a creative entrepreneur, it's really important to try to get those clients that are booking you for some of those high ticket items. I mean, I could talk to somebody who wants to book me for a little tiny, branding session that's really going to take me like 45 minutes to shoot. I can still get on the phone and talk to them. However, we're talking about weddings, and people seem to be a little bit more high strung about their weddings, and understandably so. Yeah, there you go. There's my words. And, I've been a bride. Lauren is currently a bride getting ready to get married. It is stressful. You are investing a lot of money, and we completely understand that. But I can't stress enough how important it is to get on a phone call, to get on a FaceTime. Yep. A lot of my clients are not located near me since I do travel around the United States to take different wedding pictures and engagement sessions and all that. So a lot of times it's phone call, FaceTime for me. Lauren has a meeting in person in Manhattan, Kansas, right? You have one. You have one coming up. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really important because like it gives you a vibe for the client. And a lot of times I can tell if my clients are kind of worried about like the edit. So for example, if I get a bride that comes to me and she's like, oh my gosh, like I love the blue that's in your pictures. I love how blue the sky looks. I love this. I love like, and I'm like, she loves a perfect day. She loves a perfect day. I don't even know if she likes my editing style. She just loves a perfect day that Jesus was just like, bless you all, you know?
Yep.
And I'm just like, then I take a moment to kind of try to bring everyone back down to reality. And I say, yeah, I love that too. I love when I get a blue sky too. I love bringing the blue out in the sky. I love that. I hear you. There's a possibility it could rain on your wedding day.
Yep.
Are you okay with this? And like, it is okay as a photographer or videographer to send those clients, to send them maybe a wedding album or an engagement session album or whatever. Even if you're a lifestyle photographer, it's okay to send them an album where it wasn't the most ideal lighting and be like, hey, this is what it looks like when it's not the most ideal lighting, and be okay with them saying, ooh, I don't like that. I'm not okay with that. Because honestly, yes, it's going to suck to lose the booking, but you are going to save yourself so much time and headache when they're coming back at you a month after their wedding, a month after you've delivered the photos, and saying, Lindsay, why is the sky not blue? Hello, this is Sepia Bride all over again. There was no sky. It was overcast. It was gray. Were you not present?
Yep.
And oh my gosh, tip out there, if you're just somebody listening who is not an entrepreneur, not a creative in the space, if you are a client and if you ever compare an iPhone photo to what our professional cameras are taking, be it DSLR or mirrorless, you're discredited immediately. Yeah. iPhone cameras and professional cameras are not the same thing. Yeah, they're just not.
Sensors in them are completely different.
Yeah, it's just, I guess if you wanted them to look like iPhone pictures, like, I don't want to sound harsh, but you should have hired someone who has an iPhone to take your pictures. And like, that's just the reality of it. If you like the way iPhone pictures look better, have everybody bring their iPhones. Yeah. Because there is a drastic difference between colors, dimension, everything light in a professional quality image in an iPhone. I feel like iPhones are their own thing. It's like saying the difference between an iPhone and a Polaroid camera. Like, they're just different. They're different vibes. So decide what you like and get over it. Yeah, and don't be afraid to not book a client because you feel like it's not going to go well.
Yeah, absolutely. Lindsay and I could do an entire like podcast episode over like client red flags and stuff like that, of like just making sure that you are respectfully, but like just making sure that you are protecting yourself and your business as a photographer as well, because there are clients that have come to me before and wanted to book, and it was a situation where like they did not want to book me for the experience that I was providing. They did not want to, like, they were just like looking to book someone. I'm like, nope, you are not my ideal client. And like respectfully, like, I think that you would be a great match for this photographer. And it's not like I was sending them a red flag client to them as a photographer, like as a big or anything. There's just differences in like the way that my client experience is than like other photographers or stuff like that. Maybe they were looking for a warmer edit or something like that. So I would send them to a different photographer, just understanding that like I'm not going to be able to provide the service for you that you are expecting and that you were looking for.
Well, I feel like a good example of that is I've literally had people come to me before and they want like equine photography, and I do equine photography. However, I don't do the traditional sense of like equine photography that you see a lot like in the AQHA world and stuff like that, where like they Photoshop a lot of things on the horse, not necessarily like misconstruing it, but like if there's like a stray hair, like they Photoshop that out and they change the background to be black. And I'm like, I love those pictures. I love them. I adore them. I think they're so cool. That's not me. That's not what I do. And if I have a client that comes to me and they show me pictures like that and that's what they're wanting, I'm like, well, I first try to see if they're willing to like explore my style. I'm like, okay, so I love those pictures, but here's what I do. I take you onto an open field. I take you over into a meadow. We go to the mountains. We do something like that. It's like actual real photos. Exactly. And I'm not saying the other ones aren't real. I'm sorry. That was not the correct way to word that. Mine are more authentically candid, more journalistic style of photos with equine. Yes, I still don't want them to look like an angry mare. I don't want them to look like they're going to pee. You know, I don't want their tail like swishing all around and like swatting flies. But like it's more authentic journalism style. Whereas like I definitely see where there's like a time and a place for those really, really, really fancy like headshots of horses and their owners where like they like stand inside the barn, the background gets Photoshop black. And I straight up tell people, I'm like, I don't do that. I love that, but I don't do that. And then it's up to them. And I tell them, I'm not going to do it. So don't ask me to do it. It's not my specialty. I'm not trained in it. This is what I do. They still look amazing to me. And if you don't want my style of it, then you need to go, here's a list of photographers that I know that do that black background, and they will Photoshop every little hair out of your horse. And that's okay. It is perfectly okay to not offer the style that a client is looking for and send them down the road and leave the ball in their court to decide if they want to change what they want to be your style or to say goodbye and go meet someone else.
Precisely. I love it.
Precisely.
These were some awesome hot takes that you guys sent in. And like I think we mentioned it in the beginning, but Lindsay and I are just going to be very candid in these situations. And like, we did not prep any of this. We did not read these beforehand. So it's like just our honest, like really quick reactions and stuff. So if you get offended easily, I'm really sorry. But at the same time,
don't hang out with me.
yeah. It's one of those things that like come with your expectations to these hot takes, that like they are hot takes. You do not have to agree with us. You can disagree, and we can still be friends. So if you have hot takes of your own to submit, please head over to one of our Instagram pages that will be linked below. You can either DM us, or once every few weeks, we will put up a little like question box that you can anonymously submit them to. If you DM us, again, all of this is completely anonymous, guys. Obviously, Lindsay and I see who you are, but like, we're not going to judge you for it. We would never say it to everyone, and we're not going to judge you, because like Lindsay and I have our own personal hot takes on things that people disagree with us on. So I completely understand too. This was an amazing episode. Thanks for your candidness. Lindsay, do you have any closing remarks?
If we did not, there was a lot of hot takes that got submitted already, guys. If we did not get to it this episode, we have a lot of these hot take episodes scheduled. If you are listening out there and you are specifically a photographer or videographer, or if you are an entrepreneur in other areas of the Western industry and you would like us to focus on hot takes that are more geared towards that, please leave us a comment, send us a message at the Cowboy Creatives on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and TikTok. And we are here and we are ready for it. And again, if we didn't get to your hot take, I'm sorry. Keep listening, because we're going to get to all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a blast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Next Generation featuring the Cowboy Creatives. And we'll see y'all again on another episode next week. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.